Good morning everybody, this is Lara from Pure Elliott Wave with your Monday to Friday update for Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. It's been a little time since I looked at the weekly chart for Bitcoin. The last completed candlestick completes a nice bullish engulfing candlestick for the week beginning 12th of May, and now there's a little bit of follow through so far for this current week. So at these lows, within this little consolidation, there's now a dragonfly doji and a bullish engulfing pattern. The bullish engulfing pattern also had a little bit of support from volume, although overall as price is moving sideways, volume is declining, which is absolutely normal for a consolidation. There's a small weak range for on-balance volume as well as a range for price. If we see a breakout here on the weekly, that would be a weak bullish signal. It's weak, particularly the resistance line, because it's got a bit of a slope, it's not long held, and it's only got two tests. ADX is still declining and it's still above 45, so still in extreme territory. The consolidation has pulled ADX down but not back into below extreme territory. It's pulled RSI back into neutral after reaching deeply overbought, and money flow is neutral. And at the weekly time frame, ATR continues to show an increased volatility, continues to remain within the market. At the daily time frame, prices moved up within this rectangle to find resistance at 71,500. That was previously identified, and now we're seeing a little bit of a pullback. Downward movement does not look particularly strong. It's weak in both volume and range. So this doesn't look like the start of a big downward movement. This looks like a normal pullback within a normal upward movement. And so I'll be expecting a breakout above resistance at 73,100, possibly sooner rather than later, maybe next week. I hope next week, because this rectangle really has taken a long time. If we do see a downward swing within the rectangle, then I'll continue to expect support at 60,700 to 58,200. For the short term, it is upward sessions which have strongest volume since the last low, and so for the short term, the volume profile remains bullish for Bitcoin, and on balance volume also remains within a range. I've got this new little resistance line. If we see a break above that, that'll be a bullish signal. A break below support would be a bearish signal. ADX is telling us there is an upward trend in a relatively early stage at the daily time frame, and RSI is not overbought and the trend is not extreme. Money flows are neutral and the trend is not extreme. There's a long way to go before this trend reaches danger. Ethereum is moving strongly higher today. Previously it broke through what was resistance at 3,680, a little quick test of support, and now moving up and away. Such typical behavior. If price gets up to 4,100, we may see a little pullback before a breakthrough and then a move up and away. Next resistance 4,200. Recent upward movement for Ethereum has a really strong push from volume. The volume profile for Ethereum is very strongly bullish. No new range, no new signal from on-balance volume. ADX tells us there is an upward trend in a relatively early stage for Ethereum. There's a long way to go before this reaches extreme. RSI is just in overbought territory. It can get deeply overbought and remain there while price travels a considerable distance when this market has a strong bullish run. Likewise, money flow is also neutral. There's such a long way to go before this upward trend reaches extreme. The Elliott Wave count for XRP remains the same. I'm still expecting a third wave at intermediate, primary and cycle degree is in its relatively early stages. Within intermediate 3, I'll have minor wave 1 incomplete with minute 1. 2 could be complete here, but it could move lower. It's possible the little triangle could be unfolding sideways, and it could be a B wave within a zigzag for minute wave 2 to move lower. Minute 2 may not move beyond the start of 1 below 0.4309. It looks like there's an ascending triangle unfolding on XRP according to Kirkpatrick and Dahlquist. Upward breakouts occur 77% of the time, so that's what we'll expect. For an upward breakout, we need to see a close above the resistance line on an upward session with push from volume. If we see a downward breakout, that would be a close below support on a downward session that doesn't necessarily require support from volume, but if we do see it, that would be impressive. Right now, resistance is holding in the 54 to 55 cent range, and support below about 49 cents. For the short term, the volume profile is slightly bearish for XRP. The strongest recent session was a downward session for 20th of May. On balance volume may be breaking below the support line, so we might have a very weak bearish signal, but it's just not clear enough. I want to see one more downward session before I'd call this a bearish signal from on balance volume. It would be a weak signal because this line, the purple line, only has a minimum required 2 anchor points. You need to draw a line, so only 2 tests. It's somewhat long held, but it's got a reasonable slope. So that reduces the technical significance of the line. ADX is at a really low level now. It's set itself up for a strong signal, but we don't have a clear trend indicated at this time. RSI reached oversold on the 12th of April. That supports the view that the low for 12th of April is most likely to remain intact, and this quite strongly supports the Elliott Wave count. RSI is now neutral. With no clear trend, using a slightly adjusted model of stochastics plus support and resistance, stochastics is now starting to slope down and price is at resistance, so that model may now expect a downward swing for price to support about 49 cents and a downward swing from stochastics to get about the same level as this previous point back here. Still the same two Elliott Wave counts for Solana. This is the main Elliott Wave count only because it has a better fit in terms of Elliott Wave. From this high to this low, this downward movement fits perfectly as a 5-wave impulse. If that's correct, primary 4 may not be complete there because corrections may not subdivide as 5-wave motive structures, so that would just be intermediate A of primary 4. When A subdivides as a 5, it indicates a zigzag, and within a zigzag, B may not move beyond the start of A below 209.69606, a new high by any amount at any time frame, a fraction of a cent on a tick chart, immediately invalidates this main Elliott Wave count because those Elliott Wave rules are absolute. This wave count expects a 5-wave motive structure down for intermediate C to complete the zigzag for primary 4, for C to move beyond the end of A below 119.38481 to avoid a truncation because truncations are quite rare, and C may end at the 0.618 Fibonacci ratio of primary 3 at 114.76449. This wave count lacks support from classic analysis, however, so what I want to see before I really do have confidence in it is a clear breach of the lower edge of this channel and containing intermediate B with a full red daily candlestick below and not touching this trend line. This is an alternate. It is a valid Elliott Wave count, but it doesn't have the right look. It considers primary 4 could have been complete here as a double combination, but combinations should be sideways movements, and this one has a clear counter trend slope. The first structure in the combination is a zigzag labelled intermediate W. The double is joined by a quick shallow 3 in the opposite direction, and Y subdivides as an expanded flat. The problem here is the upper edge of Y is well below the upper edge of W, and X is brief and shallow. X waves and combinations are usually deep and time consuming. However, low probability does not mean no probability, and I think there is a little bit more support from classic analysis for this alternate Elliott Wave count than there is for the main Elliott Wave count. That might be a little bit confusing. I'm going to let price tell us which one is correct. For this wave count, if primary 4 is complete there, then within primary 5 I'll have intermediate 1 incomplete with minor 1, 2, 3 nearing completion. When 4 unfolds, it may not move into wave 1 price territory below 158.37582. So in conjunction with a breach of the channel for the main Elliott Wave count for Solana on the main Elliott Wave count daily chart, I want to see a new low below this price point to give me confidence in the main Elliott Wave count. I've just updated my data for Solana. It came up higher, it found resistance about 168, a little bit of consolidation, a breakthrough there, now a back test of support. The current session 23rd of May may be an end of a back test of support about 168. I'll expect most likely now to see price move up and away to next resistance at 210. Recently it is an upward session which has strongest volume, so the short-term volume profile is bullish, supporting the view of more upward movement to next resistance. ADX tells us there's an upward trend at the daily time frame, which is quite a long way from very extreme. RSI is neutral. There's a long way to go before this gets deeply overbought and then may exhibit bearish divergence, which may occur at the end of the next bullish run. And money flow is neutral. A long way to go before this gets overbought. ATR, as price moves higher, now starting to show overall some increased supports upward movement. That's it for me today with your quick update. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. I may not be able to update analysis for you tomorrow because I'm travelling. I have to leave Cornwall and I'm making my way back up to London. So I'll see if I'm well enough when I get into our accommodation tomorrow, and I'll see if I have the time. I also have to do my US oil analysis for my membership, so that has to take priority. I'm sorry. But if I don't update you tomorrow, I will definitely be back on Monday. So thank you for your understanding and your patience.